Hi everybody, Jason here from AVPro Global, AVPro Edge, Meridio, all of the fun things around AVPro these days. We are here live for one of my favorite webinars that we've done for the past couple of years, and that is the year-end wrap-up with our own CTO, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matt Murray. Matt, how's it going?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
good, loud and clear. You look good, you sound good. How are things up there in Sioux Falls?
Excellent.
Awesome, man.
Cold
Yeah,
and
normally,
Midwest.
what's that?
Cold and Midwest like.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Normally, for the past 2 or 3 years that we've done these year-end ones, I've been up there with you guys. It's kind of definitely a bummer that I'm not here with you this year, but we're definitely together in spirit, and I know we got a lot of cool things planned for today to get the team involved and stuff. And we wanted to do this webinar, kind of more podcast style, if anything, just to talk about the things that we've been through this year and things we're looking forward to next year, and just to kind of talk about things that we've seen. So it's been an interesting year, needless to say. And I know that we were faced with many challenges, especially at the beginning of the year. Um, from your standpoint as CTO of an electronics manufacturer, you saw some different things than what I saw. We have different perspectives. And what were some of the big challenges you saw this year as a CTO of a company?
Well, some of the biggest ones obviously were, um, the sense of not knowing what was going to be happening with, the chain of production, particularly, our products are composites of many things from many places that we build and put together. So ICs coming from all over the world,
Sure.
um, chips and things like that are kind of, we import a lot of things to do to manufacture the products, and a lot of those places. It's strangely enough, we expected production shutdowns,
Right.
which happened in a lot of places. So a lot of facilities are slow or longer lead times.
Sure. Sure.
So we've just had to adjust our planning, our roadmap, our surplus of ICs and things like that that we use on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Um, other manufacturers had the same idea, obviously. So that kind of compounded the shortage issue. If you think
Right.
about, just the same like when everybody was going to buy toilet paper. It's a compounding issue, even though, you're buying more than you need, and
Sure.
so that happened. One of the things we never really suffered a shortage, luckily, and I think
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons is because our manufacturing facility is ours, and
Mhm.
that's they make things for us,
Right.
only us. Um, so that kind of helped basically make it a non-issue. So I
Yeah.
think we were one of the few who really did not have inventory issues. I think we had a maybe a 2-3 week back order on a couple products, and that was really it. So.
Yeah.
Um, 2020 was obviously we had concerns for our business and concerns for the industry and everything like that
Mhm.
when things first started. We took it upon ourselves to try to make lemon out of lemon, make lemonade out of lemons, so to
Sure.
speak.
Sure. Yeah.
And we hunkered down, got our staff trained more, especially on the technical aspects of the
Mhm.
products we sell and make and things like that. We did a little bit of strategic hiring
Mhm.
because the pool of candidates was very vibrant with really great candidates who were looking for work.
Mhm.
And we decided to kind of go out on a limb and take the risk and assume that we would be able to come out the other side of this thing, and I think that we hedged our bets the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. And I'm glad you mentioned the training of the staff. There was a huge push this year, and gosh, we probably got I don't know the number. Maybe you remember, but we got a ton of our staff CTS certified,
We have about
and
21 CTS certified staff now.
Right,
Um,
right.
90% of our tech support is CTS certified. About 50% of our sales staff is CTS certified.
Yep.
We have CTS certified marketing staff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we really wanted to just kind of increase the overall mind share amongst, positions in the company everywhere and make sure everybody is technically inclined. So we have, maximum touch points for customers every time they're talking to someone from our camp. They're going to be interfacing with someone who has a really great depth of knowledge
Sure.
in the challenges that our installers and customers are dealing with.
Yeah, and we also had a big push to get a lot of the staff ISF certified as well. So, we're kind of in a unique position now because, I mean, you can call almost anybody in the company about almost any problem, and somebody will be able to help you. How much they can help you, that depends on who you're talking to, but somebody can help you, and I think that's very powerful. What are some of the benefits and maybe some of the feedback you've heard from maybe our own customers or peers about this big push for training? How's that been going? How's that affected our reputation too?
Well, I think, more importantly, it wasn't really done for reputable reasons. It
Sure.
was more done for, to kind of give customers a comfortable place to offload their issues.
Good. Yep.
We work in a challenging environment from time to time. It's a constantly evolving industry. Technology is changing almost by the minute, it seems
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
sometimes. And, we just want to have a place where our customers can, tell their technicians that are in the field, hey, this is a comfortable number you can call and you'll get some really good help over there, no
Totally.
matter
Yeah.
what you're doing.
That's great. Guys, as Matt and I are chit-chatting here, I do have the chat box open. This is sort of an open forum, guys. So if you have any questions for me or Matt or anything anything you want to ask, feel free, throw those into the question box, and we'll be happy to get to those. So Matt, one of the big things that we have seen happen in the past month or so, we're starting to see these gigantic displays, and we're starting to hear rumors about gigantic OLEDs and things like that. And I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on how these big modular displays and these giant OLEDs might affect our industry. And what I'm thinking is, I'm wondering what's going to happen to the landscape of giant displays when it comes to somebody picking a modular LED type wall or a giant OLED or a projector going forward. To get a giant picture, what have we done for the past 30, 40 years? We've done a projector. So what are your kind of thoughts on some of these newer technology displays, and how do you think that might change the landscape of what we're seeing out there?
Some of this is opinion driven, of course, and I know Samsung has come out and they've announced that they're going to be putting in the market a micro LED modular wall system next year. These things I think are phenomenal, and I'm seeing the convergence of technology and businesses and residences has really become kind of profound. So. It's kind of been an interesting industry because I think it was somewhat fringe for a long time, and especially in the residential space where you're talking the top 5% of earners really are putting in distribution systems and things like that.
Sure.
Now as the collective mind share of the people are changing, technology is trusted more. People are utilizing it more. The word smart home is kind of synonymous when you're going out and buying a new home these days. It's like question one, do you want a smart home?
Right.
With the convergence of lighting, networking, even everything from even your blinds and your AV system and your audio system. People are centralizing everything to put that heart inside of the house or the business. And we're really seeing these things grow. And I think, your micro LEDs and your big panels and stuff, I think it's just going to take a little bit of getting used to and some adoption, but I don't think I don't think it's too far-fetched to expect to see people putting in full walls that are
Yeah,
just imaging systems, you know, and
right.
now, you know, we can, you know, as we move through generations here, you know, we're more and more information we can consume. You know, I see it, I can see there being a wall where you've maybe got, you know, a football game here and maybe you
Absolutely.
know, your Twitter feed here and your YouTube
Yeah.
running here and,
The
you
weather's
know,
over here, baby monitors over there.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just have all these different things and it becomes a custom landscape, you know. So I do think that that's going to have a big impact. And I just think, you know, like I said, the acceptance of technology, it's a really good time to be in this type of industry because it's, you know, like I said, it just, people are just comfortable with the concepts now.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I can totally just envision, going into a home or airport or almost anywhere you can think of. And we've seen this a little bit in some of the really extravagant installs, like in Las Vegas, where they have these gigantic LED screens at like Top Golf and stuff. And we've seen that kind of stuff over the past few years. And I know all of us have kind of said like one day that'll be in a home, and here we are. I think Samsung is planning on doing this micro LED thing Q1 or Q2 next year. So this is right around the corner. It's very, very
Yep.
close.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
will be happening for sure.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of work in the commercial space this year, probably more than we've ever done especially since I've been with you guys. What are you seeing from a CTO's perspective on the differences of the installs and the kind of products people are using in these big commercial installs versus like a home entertainment system or a home theater system in somebody's house?
Well, you know, commercial is a little bit more, there's a lot of segments to it. You know, it's not just, you know, commercial and residential. You know, residential, we kind of, you know, that's you know, we're dealing with a home and a homeowner and how
Sure.
they want to utilize their house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're in commercial, there's, you know, thousands of different little segments, I'll call them, you know.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest ones that we've seen major opportunity is in USB distribution, specifically doing
Mm-hmm.
video distribution. So kind of what we're doing now with HDMI, you know, we want to kind of mirror those capabilities in the USB world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you know most of the devices in a lot of these spaces, especially now with the whole COVID thing, you know, we're dealing with a lot of PTZ cameras,
Oh, sure.
you know, video conferencing codecs, you know, computer monitors are starting to become, you know, with the capability of using USB-C and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's coming. We're doing a ton of work in the fiber world with
Yes.
optical cables. We're going to be in 2021 bringing out a system topology that's called AFE. It's all fiber enterprise.
Okay.
And that's going to be addressing the issue of PoE when you're running fiber optic networks. So,
Yes, yes.
uh,
Yeah, because where's the
so
power come
there's
from, right?
some interesting things coming down the pipe, specifically geared towards the commercial world. But I'd say
Cool.
a lion's share of the effort right now is around USB 3.0 device extension.
Yeah.
We've got some solutions coming in the near future for that.
Yeah, and I've seen just in my own personal life in the past few years, more and more cell phones and tablets, and even my newest laptop is USB-C, and that, for somebody to come into a classroom environment or conference room environment, plug something into USB, they've got everything they need right there without having to fiddle with a bunch of stuff, and you don't have to be an engineer to use this stuff. I've been in several presentations, and I'm sure you have too, where somebody comes in, they throw the laptop up on the podium, and it takes them 15 minutes to figure out how to get the projector to work. So all this
Yeah,
plug and play and
I
USB
don't
stuff
think
is
I don't think
huge.
USB quite cures the issue yet. You know,
Yeah.
there's some variances in how it's implemented in every product.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's you know, and it's just there's there's problems with it, and we hope to be able to solve some of those problems, like you're saying, where it's like,
Right.
you know, we're fiddle farting around trying to figure out how to connect things, and we want to be able to help mitigate that.
Yeah, sure, sure. In the same token, talking about like long video runs, one thing that I've been asked about a ton this year is HDMI 2.1 cables that can do 8K and 10K and all this good stuff. We have somehow been able to manufacture a 100-meter HDMI cable, and when I tell people this, they look at me like I'm crazy. They feel like I'm kind of joking around. How on earth were we able to pull off a 100-meter HDMI cable? It seems like sci-fi, but we definitely have it. How did we do that?
Well, it's you're using fiber basically,
Yep.
so each HDMI channel has its own fiber cable. It'll work backwards compatible with 2.0 and 2.1 with the FRL and things like that.
Sure.
Um, so when running data over fiber, really our limits kind of are go out the window, and then we're talking about, how good are our TOSAs and ROSAs. These are the parts that go into the HDMI head shells to actually do the, what would be the electro-optical transfer, that's turning data into light, and then
Right.
the optoelectric transfer, which is turning the light back into data. That's what we're doing. We've got some really, really great engineering people who have worked with microelectronic fiber optic module manufacturers to develop products exclusive for us that are only for our company. And that's just for the HDMI side. We've
Right.
got point-to-point modules and stuff in the works that I know everybody has heard about us working on fiber for a long time.
Yeah.
Taking it back to the COVID thing, that was the big profound impact we had was that greatly delayed our fiber optic development. And that is now getting done finally. So I know there's a lot of people that are waiting for these products to start coming out, and we are extremely close to the finish line on those things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And and speaking of that, we are very soon going to be able to test for HDMI 2.1. We're going to be able to generate HDMI 2.1. We're going to be able to analyze 2.1. You're rocking your Meridio shirt. I've got my Meridio shirt underneath my Christmas sweater here. So as HDMI 2.1 becomes more and more popular and more of an everyday thing, what are our plans for Meridio as far as test equipment and being able to analyze and test cables and that kind of thing? So how's Meridio looking when it comes to all the new stuff?
Meridio next year will have basically a rebirth. We have to get all of the products upgraded to support 8K, 10K, 4K, 120, all of these different things that are becoming important. And that's actually been underway during the whole course of 2020. So it's kind of like, we the way it goes is all of the work we've done in 2020 now becomes the stuff that we'll present in 2021.
Sure.
So these things are coming. The 7G is getting an 8K upgrade.
Yes.
The 6G items are getting an 8K upgrade. We're working on other products that are using new ICs and new FPGAs, bigger ones. We need a lot more bandwidth.
Yeah,
Bigger
definitely.
FPGAs, more expensive FPGAs. To build some of the next gen products that are coming out there. So that Meridio is well underway. There's been a lot of focus on that category.
Absolutely.
During this year, and yeah, you'll see that stuff all be kind of upgrading here.
Yeah, cool. I'm super excited for that stuff. That'll be fun. A couple questions came in. One from Greg. He says, how will the newer switches with higher power PoE affect the way you power extenders and other display mounted devices? So it sounds like is there something happening with PoE where
Well, PoE has like PoE plus and PoE plus plus, so you can get higher wattages.
Gotcha.
I'm a skeptic on the powering display devices, and one of the reasons why is because I'm kind of a purist when it comes to video. I'm an ISF background.
Yep.
And yes, we have working prototypes today where we're using PoE to power display devices.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to reduce the power consumption. Your high-end displays, your high-end displays are a little bit power hungry.
Yeah.
What we're able to do right now is up to 200 watts.
Oh, good.
And there is displays that require more.
Yeah.
And until to perform at their max, you can buy a display, turn the contrast down, turn the brightness down and the backlight down, and be able to cover it. But I think that's okay in some applications, but I don't know that that's there yet, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I think that it is going to change the way things are powered in general, because we have, there's, some power hungry devices that maybe use 60 watts,
Right.
that we can now power. I think the display device is a reach, but I do think that you're going to see more firepower out of, extension products, HDMI over IP products, and things like that.
I can only imagine the power requirements for like a 48-inch OLED versus a 85-inch Z9 Sony or something. I bet the numbers are way spread far apart from each other.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Greg kind of had a follow-up question on the fiber stuff. He says, do we have any plans on making AOC/fiber cables with removable heads so they're easy to pull through conduit, mostly a problem in commercial environments? That's a good question, Greg. I have not come across that one yet. So Matt, do you envision any kind of modular head shell or anything like that for what Greg's asking?
Yeah, we do have some designs right now that are for that specific application.
Yeah.
We're working through some reliability things with that type of design. The kind of off the shelf, so to speak, designs that exist today just don't really meet our standards to put a 10-year warranty on it. So we are working through some design options, and I think we will land at something that's going to work. But we're gonna put the right amount of time into it to make sure that we can, put a 10-year warranty on it, put it in the field, and be able to rely on that piece of equipment.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings, and I feel like this applies to everything we do, is it's not done when it's good when it's done.
Yeah.
Or did I mix those two up? Did I flip-flop them? That's okay. Anyway, you know what I was saying. Andy has a question that kind of piggybacks on the USB stuff we were talking about. Is AVPro working on a mass KVM switch solution to incorporate multiple security to distribute both video and USB for multiple viewing locations?
Yes, in a couple of facets. We realized the need to converge those two so that you can use USB-based devices and HDMI-based devices.
Right.
And we really want to, one, kind of get some what I would call smaller switch platforms, 4x4s, 8x8s, things like that. We do have a project that's underway that will be kind of running through, maybe the first half of 2021, and you maybe start seeing more information later on. But that's a modular switch kind of chassis. We've got this one here.
Yeah.
This is a 25 gig backplane. We have another project called Cinto that's 100 gig backplane.
Nice.
That will have much more firepower to be able to handle a lot of these USB type signals and things like that, and really be able to converge all of those technologies, Hdbaset, HDMI, network video, USB, and kind of get all of these things under one roof.
Yeah. That's one of the big benefits of doing a modular thing like that, right? You just buy the cards you need and you've got the chassis, you just bang, 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 and you're good to go for whatever you need.
Yeah, and we're seeing, nothing is standard,
Right.
and this machine right here is getting a lot of new cards that are going to be coming out in the
Mm-hmm.
relative short term,
Mm-hmm.
and up to and including, like I was talking about converging technologies, that's going to be a technology that will converge with HDMI over IP as well.
Sure.
Where now we can use multiple technology types
Mm-hmm.
under one platform, and really
That's huge.
gives you a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, that's awesome. Greg and Andy, guys, thank you so much for those questions. If those weren't clear for you for any reason, feel free to shoot some follow-up questions into the question box. We're happy to follow up. Keep those questions coming in, guys. Good stuff. So Matt, you have quite a bit of cool little products there behind you. I know we worked really hard this year on getting out several new things. Let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite products that came out this year specifically. Do you have any favorites off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I think obviously the chassis-based product that has been very popular. It's been well adapted into the market, and this one has given us the ability to do some really unique things
Mm-hmm.
in terms of residential distribution. We've added some things onto it that kind of make it viable for commercial. We've added the MCS stuff for better scaling so that you can fix outputs and fix inputs and get seamless switching and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
This product has got one of my favorite things, a Dsp upgrade, so
Oh,
that
nice.
we've got some new licenses and things like that with the Dolby DTS with broader capability. So we did a big upgrade on our DSP. It's really a really high powered, very, very, very powerful DSP. We've got the USB extension products
Mm-hmm.
that have come out. Our USB 2.0 extender, that was a big one. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones. I think that's just kind of your everyday, everybody needs it kind of product coming out.
So just real quick, in case anybody's not familiar with what Matt's talking about, Matt, in case anybody's not familiar, give us a quick explanation on the USB extension and why we felt the need to make it.
It's just it's you think of your HDMI extension products,
Totally. Yep.
and and at the most basic level, what you need to do is move that signal from one point to another.
Mm-hmm.
Forget all of the additional things. Just focusing on doing that one job. We saw
Yep.
that need in the USB world as well, where people are just needing to move that signal around, get it to other places, like
Mm-hmm.
like we're talking about the PCZ cameras and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, it's basically a host hub device. So you have a
Mm-hmm.
host on one side, you run a piece of cat cable, and then there's a hub on the other side
Yeah. Yeah.
that allows USB 2.0 devices to work.
There's a good use case for that never even crossed my mind until I was talking to you one day about it. But if you work let's say you're a teacher or something, and you want to have your laptop like locked up somewhere safe, but you obviously still need to use it. These are kind of the things that will help people in those situations, right?
Yep,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So what else? You've got the modular stuff we talked about, the USB extension we talked about. What else? Anything else off the top of your head that was really impactful this year for products?
We've had a lot of R&D happening this year.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff we've been working on is going yet to be released.
Mm-hmm.
So 2021 was a big year, or 2020 was a big year with 8K with the AOC cables.
Mm-hmm.
Big year with some USB extension devices and tools. We've got AOC cables coming in for USB 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming pretty soon.
Nice.
And yeah, we've spent a lot of time working out, how we're going to address 8K and things like that.
Right, right. Sammy comes in with a good question. Is AVPro working on an audio matrix switch? Anything like that in the plans?
Yes, we have. So in 2021, we have audio products that we're working on. A whole plethora of them. In fact, we're thinking about, you know, there's different types of installations going in. Sometimes we're not doing video, maybe we're doing audio, and we want to address those needs specifically, and get, and bring kind of a unique ecosystem to that. So we've got some stuff that's going to be coming out pretty quickly, not only to move it around, but yes, matrix and things like that.
Yeah, good. Thanks for the question, Sammy. Again, guys, keep those questions coming in. That's good stuff. One hot topic that I've been hearing about for a couple of years, and I know we've been working hard on it, is all this AV over IP stuff. What solutions can we expect from AVPro when it comes to AV over IP going into 2021?
Well, I mentioned the chassis-based systems getting network video. It's what we're calling it at AVPro is called MXNet. So when we're talking about MXNet, that's video over IP.
And real quick, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, let's just give a quick explanation on what AV over IP is and what that actually means.
AV over IP is basically what you're doing is you're sending your audio and video signals into an encoder somewhere, and you're decoding it somewhere else, and it's using standard IP protocol. So it's not an Hdbaset. It's a different type of technology.
Gotcha.
But it has pros and cons, just like everything.
Everything, right?
It definitely has its home,
Yeah.
for distributed video and audio systems.
So like with MXNet then, are you with AV over IP in general and in MXNet, are we limited to anything like the amount of outputs and things like that? Like we can tend to be on some things like HDMI switches, or is this like a wide open, do as much as you want type of system?
Well, it depends on how good you are at networking.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, in theory, the networked video systems, those can be theoretically unlimited.
Awesome. That's cool.
Now, one of our strengths that we're going to bring to the table in this, we're not naive. We know that that there are other products out there on the market. What we're trying to do is bring something that is an easier pill to swallow for integrators.
Sure.
And address the topology things. Like how big can I do my system? How do I make this a reliable system?
Yeah.
How do I actually physically build this topology to make this so that I've got a redundancy point? These are all things that we're trying to address. And some of the strategic hiring we've done has been around specifically IT engineers who really understand how to build these systems and build them to maximize success.
Yeah, and it really sounds like this might be a great answer to simplify really big installs, like maybe a baseball stadium or something like that. Is that fair to say?
I mean, it ranges from small bars, restaurants.
Yeah.
We're even seeing it in the residential space.
Yeah.
There's arguments around that, of course. It's and this is an opinion again. I don't feel IP is ideal for all residential situations, especially if you're a video purist.
Sure.
But for when you're doing big distributions, it's a great product. Because you can have weighted systems that have maybe 8 sources and 100 displays.
Right.
And build a switch system around it.
Good. So a couple more questions came in. Thank you guys for the questions. First one comes in from Jeff. He says, does AVPro have any wireless product in the works for AV distribution or extension? So like Wi-Fi or 5G or things like that. Anything wireless in the plans?
We do have plans for it, but I will say that they are not in the immediate future. The current wireless solutions that exist are just not reliable. To be frank, they're just not there yet. But 5G has opened up this window a little bit to make this more possibly a reality, because we can do a lot more bandwidth with 5G. hopefully avoid some compression and massive amounts of
Yeah,
compression. Yes, we are sniffing out 5G,
that's
and
cool.
we have been for quite some time. So when the time is right, and we've got the um, enough technology out there to build these, we'll build them.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember, gosh, this was probably a decade ago, when I was doing installs all day, every day. I showed up to an install one time and somebody had this wireless HDMI transmitter receiver thing that they bought somewhere. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know, and I hooked it up for them and it didn't work. It was pretty bad and it was very expensive. And I don't know if it was a line of sight thing or a distance thing or whatever, but it was not a very big room. We weren't going that far, I think maybe 50 feet. And I told him, I was like, guys, this is just not very good. So here we are 10 years later and we're still kind of talking about this stuff, but it sounds like it's more promising now.
Yeah, I mean, I think as with everything, technology will change.
Of course,
Eventualities
yeah.
will happen. Things don't change as fast as we always think or like them
Yeah,
to.
right.
But I do think that is in the cards in the future. But at the same time, our consumption levels go up. Um, way more than the wireless capabilities are going up. I mean,
Sure.
we're now, yesterday we were talking about needing 18 gigs wirelessly. Today we're
Yeah,
talking about needing 48 gigs
yeah,
wireless.
it's crazy.
Tomorrow we're going to be talking about needing 100 gigs.
Right.
So I think that things like compression are going to become terms that just have to be understood.
hmm
Installers and integrators and everybody needs to understand how compression works,
Sure.
what compression does, why one
hmm
would use one over the other
Absolutely.
to accomplish your proper goals. And I think people need to start looking at fiber and start taking that extremely seriously.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of fiber, nice transition there. Ryan has a question about one of my favorite products that we have is the ACEXO 444 kit. He asks if we have any plans for an HDMI 2.1 upgrade to that kit.
So the plan of attack right now, and some people who've talked to me know this. We've developed our own fiber optic module that can run up to 30 gigs per channel by 4. So
Nice.
it's our own extension module that's got a patent pending on it and everything like that. And this is one that um, will be able to achieve those goals. What we're working on is the glass portion of it.
hmm
As soon as we have the glass portion successfully built and manufactured, it's a difficult manufacturing process.
Sure.
As soon as that's done and successful, these products will hit the streets, HDMI 2.0 with HDMI 2.1 shortly thereafter,
hmm
in a fully uncompressed fashion.
Yeah, good, Ryan. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, feel free to type a follow-up question into the question box here. Um, Speaking of HDMI 2.1, we saw it last year. It kind of stumbled its way in, and we saw a little bit more of it this year. We've been reading about it. We've known about it for years now. Now that we're starting to see more implementations of it and starting to see it more in the real world, if you will, is there anything about HDMI 2.1 that has kind of taken you for surprise, good or bad, now that we're seeing more and more of it?
Not, I mean, we've had the spec since 2017.
Right.
So there's not anything that's surprising. I think HDMI 2.1 is a great step forward. I think
I agree.
it's going to make video technology feel more seamless.
hmm
For everybody wants to talk about the high bandwidth and the hot buttons, right?
Yeah.
VRR,
Yep.
high bandwidth, 8K, 10K, 120
hmm
frames, things like that. But the thing, that I really look at that really makes the HDMI 2.1 pill easy to swallow is that they have they've built it in so that we're no longer going to be changing signal type or
hmm
frequency as we're
Right.
changing through device types. And this is something that HDMI has needed to do for a long time.
hmm
This is going to make the technology feel much more natural,
Yeah.
as we're actually using it. And it really it'll modernize it a lot,
Right.
and of course you have all the added benefits of VRR,
Yeah.
higher frame rate,
Hmm.
obviously higher resolution. The one thing that I always say is, HDR is still, most people haven't even been able to properly experience 4K HDR.
It's a good point.
And, this hopefully will get more people experiencing HDR because it's
Mhm.
easier to do.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, HDR to me has been the most profound impact on video quality, um, you know, probably ever, in
Yeah.
my opinion, aside from color.
Yeah. Yeah.
HDR
From black and white to
is,
color. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. And I still remember the first time I saw HDR, and it was weird at first because it looked too good. It's like, what is going on here? So of course, I jumped on it 2016 or 17. So I've been living with HDR now for several years, and that's all you want to watch anymore, man. I find myself watching stuff that I normally maybe not would probably wouldn't be interested in just because it has that HDR, that Dolby Vision logo. I'm like, let's at
right.
least check this out and look at it. And it looks really cool. And now you find yourself watching a movie you normally wouldn't have watched. So I agree with you, man. The HDR stuff is huge. Ryan actually had a follow-up question to his fiber question before. He says, um, what should we be using to pre-wire for the new products? Duplex, or do we see a need for more than duplex? And duplex meaning that one cable actually has two jackets and two cables inside of it. So instead of just pulling a single, you're pulling two at the same time. So do you think duplex is enough going into the future? Or do you think people should
Here's
be
what I
thinking
would
more?
recommend. You should pull a duplex fiber minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
can do just because of the cost. I mean, you could do they have stuff that's called like micro distribution where you can
Yes.
pull 4, 8, 12, however many you want in a little,
Mm-hmm.
single jacket. The
Right.
problem I see with those is, it's a little bit more difficult on the termination side because you have to put in, you have to put in like fan out kits and things like
Yep.
that.
Right.
The beauty of a multi-mode duplex distribution is you've got two individually wrapped pieces of fiber
Yes.
that are really, really easy to terminate.
Mm-hmm.
Our products are going to be using a single LC connector.
Good.
So you're only going to be using one of them, and you've got
Mm-hmm.
one for future use. The
Right.
bandwidth you can put over fiber at this point, as we know, bandwidth is only the amount of stuff we can packetize on a specific analog waveform.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about right now, we're running things about 540 megahertz, 600 megahertz. So
Mm-hmm.
we jam pack a lot of data in there. Fiber is capable, multi-mode fiber is capable of up to 2000 megahertz,
Yeah.
sometimes more.
It's awesome.
So the actual bandwidth possible there is theoretically unknown at this time, but
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. We don't
it's
know.
it's massive.
Yeah.
I would pull the fiber, I would pull some Cat 6,
Mm-hmm.
and you might even pull some Cat 5e or some low cost Cat cable just to run PoE, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing you have to remember about fiber is we don't have power. But
Mm-hmm.
what you can do to protect yourself is pull some, an extra wire. You're already pulling it, just put it in there. That way, when you want to use data to address these peripherals that support fiber, you've got an option to provide power for a remote component.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Good. Guys, keep those questions rolling in. We got about 5 more minutes or so left of chatting, and then we'll leave a few minutes at the end for questions. So keep those coming in. Andy had a question that kind of follows up on the MXNet. He says, will MXNet have the ability to pass 4K, 444, 422, 420, or all of it?
So MXNet is, we've got the same challenges that virtually everybody has with these video over IP products, and that is, we have to address the compression.
Yep.
Yes, so the short answer is yes, we will support 4K 6444. We have to use a combination of our ICT compression and the spatial compression that's used in the to actually do the JPEG compression of the video signal. But yes, we're able to attain that. We're right now we're actively passing Dolby Vision.
Yes.
In both flavors, low latency and standard VSIF based Dolby Vision. We're passing HDR. We're using, obviously SDR. We've got our latency down to around 19 milliseconds, so effectively invisible.
Yeah.
So it should be a really strong player in terms of the actual picture quality. So we're trying to make it as suitable as possible for the multitude of environments we see it going into.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned something earlier, and it jogged a question I wanted to ask you. I have not had the privilege yet of seeing like one of our video wall processors, whether it's a Cap 4 or a Cap 9. Those products are all capable of Dolby Vision and HDR. And as soon as we put those products out, I was thinking to myself, like, who's going to be the first one to do like a 2x2 or a 3x3 gigantic video wall with HDR and Dolby Vision? And I know that we had a little setup in the lab, and that's kind of all I got to see. But have you seen anybody out in the real world yet do some crazy Dolby Vision gigantic video wall with one of the processors?
We don't have any case studies yet. The Cap 4 that does 4K 60 444 SDR. The 9 is the one you want if you want HDR Dolby Vision.
Gotcha. There you go. Yep. Yep.
And we do have some customers that have those products have picked up. Those are going in.
Yeah, good.
And they are really, really, really cool. And those types of things those types of applications are growing.
If there's any integrators or distributors who are listening to the session today, if you guys have any of those 3x3 video wall processors out there in the wild where people are doing big video walls with HDR and Dolby Vision, let us know, because we would love to do some case studies on it. So give us a shout if you see it out there. Okay, I've got one more question for you, and then we'll leave it to questions at the end, guys. Keep those questions coming in. These have all been great. Thank you so much. So here's the big thing. 2020 is almost over. We got a couple of weeks left. 2021, I think, will be a very big year for our industry and for us especially. What are some of the things that you're sort of looking forward to or excited about for next year and beyond?
So we've got a mantra right now that is pushing AVPro to the next level. And the things that we're working on right now are Axion, which I'll explain, MXNet, fiber, 8K, and audio. So
good. All great
these
stuff.
are the 5 things. So Axion, now I'll give you the nickel tour of each one of them. Axion is the evolution of all of our products into basically they're going to have Linux computers inside of them. So what that means is we can now do much deeper monitoring, much deeper control. Everything's going to be server based. So that means we can remotely access the products.
Excellent.
The other component to this is firmware uploading. That's been a major pain point. This is going to take it from what initially is a frustrating sometimes process with technology like this to making it feel much like a TV, where you just go check for updates
and then boom,
and you just click it and you update it. So
that's awesome.
That's an evolutionary thing. MXNet obviously is coming, and that's these boxes right here.
Oh, cool.
So these are physically coming.
Nice.
We put a lot of time and energy into these and tried to give as much as possible. You can see there we've got fiber.
Nice.
We've got network, and we have these already set up as we discussed. So you can do your data over fiber, and you can power using the network cord.
That's awesome.
We've got screens so that
screen
you
on the front.
see what's going on.
Super cool.
So we tried to put a lot of thought into how the installer is going to use this. MXNet is, I don't see one back here right now, but we will have a switch. So we are under development, and we'll be launching a a series of switches, a 24 port, a 48 port, and a core switch device
Oh,
to build
cool.
these systems. So these are all going to be optimized for video over IP distribution. Should take that headache completely away, take the mystery away, and you'll be able to get very competitively priced switching devices to build these systems.
Sure.
Um, the 8K, we're hard and heavy on Meridio. All of those products are being updated. We'll have our 4x2 switcher out in the very short term.
Awesome. I saw that prototype. That's cool.
Yep, those are all on the way. You're going to see 8K switchers kind of roll out. That's going to be with the X series of products. So when you start seeing an X, that's going to indicate 8K support.
Cool. Good.
So you'll start seeing the 8K products roll out, and then ultimately, going into your big form distribution devices as well. We've got fiber, like I said, that's been under development for a long time. That's coming out of the development channel now, and that will come out. AVPro sound we started about February of last year, and we've got some extremely useful products that I think integrators will really want to jump on. And specifically what we're thinking about is, the customer who doesn't want, a $15,000 matrix switch, but still want to have a smart home feel. We'll have options to incorporate smart TVs, including multi-channel audio and Atmos and everything into this, what we're kind of creating as a new distribution topology. And we have some patented items and things like that coming into that field as well. So
lots coming.
Lots of new things will be coming in 2021, and those are the big focal points. And then we have obviously some side projects we're working on, specifically, USB obviously is a big one. We're going to keep developing our USB offering and do as much as we can. We're going to do as much as we can and try to bring as much as we can to the market.
Good to hear. Really good to hear. So guys, we've got about 2 or 3 more minutes. Get those questions rolling in. I want to make sure all your questions are answered. Ryan had a follow-up question. We were talking about Hdbaset and PoE++ earlier. Ryan says, are there any plans to offer a dual, you may have mentioned this, but let's just go ahead with it anyway. Are there any plans to offer a dual power option for the Hdbaset kits, giving the option to power over PoE? I think that's kind of what you were talking about before, a little bit. Dual power option for Hdbaset kits to support PoE++.
Well, so if I'm understanding it right, like our extension products today, they'll support PoE, IEEE PoE, and they'll also support POH, which is the that's the kind of lower heat version that's just for Hdbaset devices.
Sure. Yeah.
There's often a switch that you have to kind of flip to make them support one or the other. If I'm understanding it right, that's what you're asking, and if that is, then that is supported. You might have to clarify that with Jason.
So yeah, Ryan, if that wasn't totally clear for you, man, go ahead and feel free to type in a follow-up to that. No problem at all. Sammy asks, will eARC be available on the new 8K switchers and extenders? I think yes, right? Why not?
That's a good question. Glad that got brought up. So we are working on 2 extension products that will support eARC.
Excellent.
And those should be out sometime. I was under strict instructions to not give timelines. So we have those that are coming, and we do have cards for the modular chassis that will be supporting ARC and eARC along with audio inputs. So yes, eARC, where AVPro from a philosophy standpoint, we weren't doing a lot of ARC support because of the notorious unreliability of ARC. This wasn't ideal as a professional solution. something we didn't feel you could put into a customer's house and comfortably leave the home and hope that it's going to work for a
without
long
it
time.
breaking. Yeah.
Yark, however, has changed that. So Yark we are addressing in a big way. And you'll see that we have, up to and including soon to come products that are just going to be for extending eARC.
Oh, just for that. Cool. Awesome. That'll be fun. And, I've said this for a year or two now, and just for anybody out there who maybe hasn't got a chance to play with eARC yet, don't be scared of it. Don't treat it like ARC. It's definitely a lot better. You get a lot more bandwidth, uncompressed audio over the eARC channel.
Well, if anyone understands HDMI, you got to look at it as it's its own signal. It's not reliant
no more CEC.
on CEC or anything like that. What it does, yes, it's great. It has good bandwidth and all of that good stuff. That's awesome. But what's key is an AVR, for instance, now has what's called a CDS, a capabilities
data display structure, right? Yeah.
And that effectively is the EDID for the eARC channel.
Right.
So now when I'm back channeling the audio, I have a control mechanism to control what types of signals I'm getting sent and fed. So it improves the reliability tenfold.
Right.
Take CEC out of the mix, and now all of a sudden you've got just an independent audio signal.
Right.
And you can do anything you want with that audio signal. And we've got, again, this is where we have a patent pending on a extension device to move this signal around. And, with our partners in Dolby and DTS and things like that, we have the unique ability to not only take these multi-channel signals, but we have the ability to decode and channel decode these multi-channel signals to bring sound bars and different things like that into the mix.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm excited about it. I'm not quite using it at home yet, but should be pretty close, man. So Ben has a question, and guys, this might be one of the last one or two questions. So if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and get those in now. Ben asks, are we going to incorporate SDI and NDI/NDI-HX protocols into any AVPro or Meridio lines for the commercial market?
NDI, it is in the discussion now. The SDI is in the discussion now. SDI has been in the discussion for a long time with Meridio. And it our kind of bread and butter, so to speak, has always been in HDMI. But as we're looking for new channels and new ways to expand, yes, we do want to address SDI. I think you'll see that coming from us. I can't tell you for sure if there's going to be any productization in 2021.
Right.
But I can tell you it's on the radar.
It's on the radar.
NDI is definitely higher on that roadmap. We're seeing the adoption rates for that increase quite significantly. So we are actively applying engineering effort to that protocol. So that would be my answer is yes, in development with no immediate timelines or anything.
All right, good to know. Okay, two more. Greg asks on AV over IP, what kind of compression will we be using, and will we provide IPTV/digital signage compatibility in the decoders?
It's going to use JPEG 2000 compression, and we could decode anything in theory that uses JPEG 2000.
Right.
There is this would be for a direct decode. A lot of these things will do H.264. We will not have H.264 decoding on the first boxes that come out, but we do have boxes that will be coming out in conjunction. MXNet is going to be more than just the standard transmitter and standard receiver.
Right.
There's a lot of iterations of products coming out that will support that. So on these, we can decode anything with JPEG 2000. What you're going to be looking for is probably H.264,
Right.
which will come on a future decoder.
Okay, cool. Good, good. Well, guys, I don't see any more questions. I think I got them all. If I missed any, feel free, shoot me an email, jason@meridio.com, and we'll be happy to answer any follow-up questions for you. So Matt, that flew by. It's always fun talking to you, man. Bummer I'm not there with you guys physically, but hopefully soon enough. It's always fun, man. Thank you so much. I don't see any last-minute questions coming in. So Matt, if you don't have anything else, I don't have any more questions for you. Happy holidays to everybody. And Matt, any final words?
Nope. Just, want to thank everybody for their time today. If, customers who are on this call, we of course appreciate all that you do for us. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So feedback and things like that, always keep sending it in. We're
Always.
probably, we religiously take that stuff to heart.
Absolutely.
We pivot quickly. This USB extender is an example of a if we have customers telling us we need things, we can get things. So, we've grown as a company. We've got more capabilities and things like that, and we're going to try to keep bringing new and cutting edge and unique solutions to the market.
Yep. That's the one huge thing we're known for, man. And I love it. So thank you guys so much. Thank you again, Matt. Happy holidays to everybody. And we'll see everybody 2021. Thanks again, Matt.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.